Since 3 months ago, I started work on my C++ Minecraft clone. I live streamed the whole development on my second channel and decided it's time I go over every feature I managed to implement. This is the main menu of the game. We have a panoramic view that we created using 6 screenshots of the actual game. Here we have buttons that we can hover and we can click on them. The 360-degree view is a simple skybox, which is a cube like this one around the camera, and it uses a texture like this one. These are 6 screenshots of the actual game. This is what you see when the game starts. We have very simple 2D clouds, we have terrain generation, we have foliage, and if you can notice, the hand animates while we're moving. Also, when we break a block, the hand again animates. There are particles, there is sound, and there are item drops that have this shadow below them, which you can pick up by going near them. Also, the particles change depending on which block you're destroying. Here are the particles for the leaves. Also, if you destroy all of the logs, we have actual leaf decay. The leaves will disappear. Also, we have chat, where we can type whatever we want. And we have simple commands like mobs, which spawns a bunch of mobs, which are the cow, pig, chickens. And these are the idle sounds they make. We have a creative mode inventory where my favorite feature is that we have a scroll bar. We can scroll up and down, and so we can have as many items as we want. And we have the end dimension where we can enter it by going through this poppy flower. It deletes all of the chunks and creates new ones, but this time in the end dimension, where we have all of these pillars. And here we have the fountain. We don't have the ender dragon, and here the world is sadly endless. This is not an island. The pillars have a random height and they have different radius. Some of them are smaller, others are bigger radius. We have the Enderman as well. If I type this command and hit enter, it will spawn a bunch of Endermen that just walk around. They don't teleport and they don't have animations. We can also create a nether portal and actually use it. Here, if I right click with a fire, it actually creates the nether portal and you can see through it behind it, which is difficult to accomplish because it's semi-transparent. And so if we go through it, just like the end, we'll go to a different dimension, which this is the nether. It just has this block and the lava, which is actually animated. It has the animations. And just like in Minecraft, if you want, you can make the portal to be bigger than the usual 2x3. And we can go back to the overworld the same way we came in. The sad part is there is no saving and loading, so we lost our portal that we had here. We have liquids as well, and if you can notice, they actually generate a mesh similar like the original Minecraft. Look at how cool the mesh is. We also have the lava, which spreads a lot slower than the water and doesn't reach a big distance like the water. One sad thing is the flow of the water and the lava. All of them go towards the south direction. I didn't have time to change the direction to be like here, to be towards the east, here to be towards the west. And if you can notice on the top left, we have the F3 menu where we're looking at, we have position, and also when we look at a block, we can see its block state. So here the grass block has a block state of if it's snowy or not. The liquids also prioritized finding like holes like this one, or if I put it here, it will just prioritize going down here. It will not spread like usual, like here. It will continue to flow down, and here as well, the lava flew down. One problem is, if we break blocks below it, it will not update the lava to continue spreading. We have fog as well in the distance. You may be able to barely notice it. And unlike my Java clone, this C++ clone is actually endless and it prioritizes building the chunks around the player so that we can go a lot faster. And here, once the player stops, it will continue generating the rest of the terrain. The biggest problem with endless terrain, it lags the game a lot. You will see huge lag spikes when you attempt to implement endless terrain. The way developers solve this is by implementing multi-threading. So you can offload everything to a separate thread, and the main one can be steady and focus just on rendering what we currently have. But my game runs on a single thread because supporting multi-threading complicates the code a lot. And so the way I solved the lag spikes is just by executing the code in multiple frames. I don't execute everything on a single frame. And the way I do it is when a chunk wants a mesh or to generate blocks, I create a request. I don't do it immediately. And so if there is time in a future frame, it will be done in the future. There is also F5 mode where you can look at Steve. The only problem is Steve doesn't currently have animations. So it's a animationless Steve jump scare. And we have rain where it can follow you wherever you are. It's like endless. If we hide under a tree, you can notice there is no rain here. Or if I start mining and we hide here as well, there is no rain. Look at how the rain is only outside, and you can hear there is sound when it rains. We have ambient occlusion as well. If you can notice here at the edges, here where it's a bit darker, this right here is ambient occlusion. And if we go below the terrain, you can notice we have caves. We have two types of caves. This is the first type where they call them pearl and worm caves. I call them noodle caves. These other ones are bigger caves. I use 3D noise to generate them. If we go inside, look how they look much better. And they reach even down to bedrock. Here in the caves, it's easier to notice the ambient occlusion. Look at how when the edges have these shadows, how much easier it is to see the depth of the terrain. There is also TNT, where once you left click it, that's when it starts preparing to explode. And when it explodes, it activates the other TNTs. Also, the TNT becomes an entity when you hit it and it collides with the terrain. And it should be able to push other activated TNT away from it. There is also farming. We have these farmland blocks, and when we place water, at some point it will start watering them, and we can place wheat above them, where now if we press F3 we can look at the block state, and here the farmland has a moisture of 0. At some point it will become 7, and so that's when it will change to wet farmland. This is the wheat. It starts from H0, and this one is now of H1 because the block below it is wet. It can actually start growing, and this is of H2, and eventually they will grow to the fullest age of like 7, I think. And if I hit escape, we have a pause menu where we can go back to game. This button for save and quit doesn't work, and this render distance button also doesn't work. If I place the anvil, and let's ignore the culling problem below it, we can notice there is custom outline around the block. What this means is we can target blocks behind it. This is my old Java Minecraft clone. It also has the 360-degree panoramic view. Here it's the easiest to see the problem by not having custom block outline. So here I'm trying to target the redstone, but once I left click, it actually targeted the redstone torch because the outline is not custom. But in my C++ Minecraft clone, I don't have that problem. Look at how the torch has its own custom outline and the redstone dust has its own custom outline, so I can easily target blocks behind it. And most of the wheat is now ready, it's of H7. We have support for texture packs. This is the Faithful texture pack, which is a 64 by 64 resolution texture pack. We also have animations for the textures. And all of the blocks automatically have been updated now to use the Faithful texture pack. This is the portal, this is the TNT, this is the crafting table, this is the redstone block, and this is the sand. All of this is the Faithful texture pack. Since the player controller is based on the Half-Life game, we have Bunny Hop. We have Health and Hunger, that I'm just displaying and not using, but I could lower the health by pressing a button. And also the clouds are not endless, they stop at some point, and I cannot support 3D clouds. We have structures, this block right here, if I right click it, you can notice the wireframe around the oak tree. This oak tree I created in-game, and using this interface I saved it into a text file, and I can load it whenever I want. I can load it through code, or I can load it using this block. All of the structures are in a single folder, they are just txt files. And here is, for example, one of the trees. We have the dimensions is 5 by 12 by 5 and all of the block types. The issue I found by saving structures in this format is that if I reorder the block types, this will break. So for example, number 30 may no longer be a lock, and number 31 may no longer be the leaves. We have rails as well. They actually make turns. I have the powered rail as well, but they cannot go up and down. We also kind of implemented custom culling. The FPS is around 170, but if we look at above us, look at how it jumps to 1000 FPS. And when we look at the ground, now it tanks to 90 FPS. This is custom culling. Basically, we only render the chunks that we are currently seeing. This is the frustum of the camera, and so the code calculates if the chunk is outside of this frustum, we don't send it to the GPU, we don't render it. The reason I said we kind of have frustum culling is I'm only using this plane right here. I'm ignoring all of the other planes of the camera. And there is another problem. Look at the chunk at the bottom right, how sometimes it disappears depending where we're looking. This is the frustum culling. It's culling too much. We also have redstone dust, but the reason we're looking at the video is because I've broken it and I need to fix it at some point. And the redstone signal actually propagates with the proper power level. We also have a snow biome with snow on top of the trees, and a desert biome with cactuses and dead bushes. But the reason we're looking at the videos is because I broke the biomes, and we had different foliage colors for the biomes, but I broke it and I need to fix it at some point. And we have a very simple village where it has a center, this fountain. And from the center you have 4 roads in each of the directions, and randomly houses spawn to the left and to the right of the roads, where these houses are just placeholders. And if you open my streams, you'll see I'm not using AI. This is because this project is a learning opportunity. I know if I use AI, I will not learn anything, so I heavily avoid using it. It's impossible not to use it, because even if you do a simple Google search, you'll have here an AI overview. My plan for this channel is to do 1 month experiment where every week I just hit record and update you guys on what has happened during the week. I stream between 5 and 8 p.m. UTC time from Monday to Friday. So the weekly devlog will just summarize what happened during those 5 days.